When Google announced Stadia in 2019, it felt like the beginning of something that was going to change the gaming industry. It proposed itself as a gaming platform with no console, no downloads, and no hardware limitations. Its whole pitch was streaming high-end games from almost any device. For a moment, it looked like Google might change how the entire industry works, because they did revolutionize the file sharing industry as well as the office suite industry, despite being late to the game. On paper, Stadia should have been unstoppable. However, in practice, it didn't last long. Google ended Stadia before it even had the chance to mature. It was a service that never got to grow into what it was meant to be. And that leaves one big question hanging over the entire story. Why did Google end one of its most ambitious projects so quickly? When Google shuts something down, it usually isn't a surprise. Whether it's Google+, Google Hangout, Google Wave, or more recently, Google Podcasts, the company has developed a reputation for ending products long before they reach their full potential. So when Google Stadia was announced in 2019, people were excited but also suspicious, because Google has a graveyard of abandoned ideas, and many wondered if Stadia would eventually join that list. What made the timing even more interesting was that Google launched Stadia right when its competitors were doubling down on cloud gaming. Xbox Game Pass was becoming more popular than ever, and Apple Arcade was expanding its ecosystem across the entire mobile space. You see, Google entered the gaming the way it enters almost every new industry. They almost have no understanding of the people who actually use it. Gamers aren't just consumers, they're also communities that want clear roadmaps, exclusive titles, and long-term support they can rely on. But Google positioned Stadia more like YouTube Premium. Even though you pay to access the platform, you still had to buy every game at full price. This is worrying, especially on a service many people already feared might not exist in a few years. And the pricing model didn't help. Stadia was split into two tiers. The base tier was free and let you stream at 1080p, but you still had to purchase every game individually. Meanwhile, the Pro tier cost $10 a month and upgraded the quality to 4K with a handful of monthly games included. But even then, you still had to build your entire library from scratch. What makes this even more ironic is that Google had every opportunity to become the Netflix of gaming. But instead of leaning into the advantage, Google created a system that was hard to justify. Besides that, the gaming industry runs on an exclusive. PlayStation has God of War and Last of Us. Nintendo has Zelda and Mario Kart. Xbox has Halo and a growing list of studios. Google had nothing to offer. To be fair, they did start an internal studio led by Jade Raymond, but within a year, Google quietly shut it down. So Stadia was left with no launch titles or strong partnership. There was an article a while back. Hideo Kojima was going to make a Death Stranding game exclusive to Google Stadia, but the project was allegedly cancelled early on because it focused on single-player gameplay. If that's true, it really makes you wonder how many potential games never made it past the discussion stage. A Kojima-led title could have given Stadia the kind of attention and prestige it desperately needed. And it raises the question of how many other creative ideas or partnership might have brought players to the platform if they had been given a chance. In the end, it seems less about the lack of opportunities and more about Google's unwillingness to invest in Stadia long term or give it the space to grow. Furthermore, cloud gaming is expensive. Microsoft spent decades losing money on Xbox before it started winning. Google didn't want to lose money at all. Inside the company, Stadia competed for resources with other Google products, such as Google Search, Android, YouTube, and other Google Cloud services. In that environment, a long-term gaming platform didn't fit Google's overall ecosystem. The truth is simple. Google loves bold and experimental ideas, but it doesn't always love the commitment required to see them through. So instead of building Stadia into a long-term consumer platform, the company quietly shifted its focus toward licensing the underlying technology. Google builds some of the best software in the world. It is enticing to wonder what would Stadia look like today if they had actually committed to it.